What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Bonus Stage Episode number 3. I haven't done one of these in quite some time, guys. I haven't done one of these, I think, almost since the podcast launched almost a year and a half, almost 2 years ago or so. So, if you guys aren't familiar with the format, basically, on the Bonus Stage, it's a podcast where I just read the news. I don't elaborate on anything. I don't give my opinion. I just give you the news. And the reason for this is because I'm running a little low on time. I don't have a lot of time to record like I want to, but I want to continue to give you guys the content because I appreciate you guys so much. Now, before I get started, I want to shout out Mr. Cody Clark and Mr. Ben Angry for writing into the show. And by the way, Mr. Ben Angry, let me know if I'm saying your name right, brother. But I truly thank you guys for sending in the emails. Unfortunately, on this episode, I won't be able to read them because of time constraints, but I promise you guys that I will get to them on the next regular episode of the podcast. So without further ado, let's go ahead and, let's just jump into this news. Now, this week I want to start off with CD Projekt Red, because it looks like the E3 demo we saw won't be what we will be getting in the final product, according to the Quest director, who sat down to do an interview with Area Johannes, where he was then asked, how has the game changed since the public saw it last? He went on to say that the E3 build wasn't fully representative of the team's vision, and at that time, they didn't figure out how the open world melds with the rest of the experience. Moreover, there are a number of things the development team is still working on. Cyberpunk 2077, as it exists today, then is quote-unquote quite different from the E3 gameplay. Moving on to some Nintendo news. Now, the Switch has hit another milestone. According to the VG charts, the Nintendo Switch has surpassed the N64 lifetime sales, which topped out at 32.93 million. As it stands, the Switch has surpassed 33 million units sold since it launched back in March of 2017. The N64 stayed on the market for 4 years. Moving on from there into some Square Enix news. Now, they announced on Twitter, and I quote, Square Enix Live E3 2019 kicks off another exciting lineup of titles. Tune into squex.link/E3 on Monday, June 10th at 6 p.m. Pacific time, #Square Enix E3. Moving on into the next story, let's shift gears to GameStop for a minute. Now, we know that the future of gaming, at least at this time, looks to be going to streaming and digital more so digital because Microsoft just released an all-digital Xbox. So to me, I thought, I'm not even going to get into all of that. But anyway, the VP of GameStop, Eric Bright, said that they have, and I quote, a full digital agreement with Microsoft that allows us to profitably sell digital games, end of quote. Now, this isn't all. On top of that, GameStop said they conducted a survey with their Power Up Rewards customers where around 50% of them said not having a disk drive would negatively, quote unquote, I quote, negatively affect their desire to purchase the new console. Moving on into the next story. Now, let's get into, since we're already on it, some Microsoft news. Now, despite the Xbox hardware sales being down for the quarter, Xbox business revenue was up 5% year over year to $2.36 billion. The company's gaming software and services jumped 12%, driven by monetization and subscription growth for third-party titles. They also reported 63 million monthly active live active Xbox Live users, which is up from 59 million year over year, but down from the previous quarters of 64 million. Now, Microsoft saw company revenue up to $30.6 billion with a net income of $8.8 billion, along with its commercial cloud offering, making $9.6 billion for the quarter. Now, let's get back into some E3 news for a moment. Now, it was announced during a recent investors briefing that Nintendo will be doing their Direct at E3. Now, one interesting thing about this Direct is it will feature games that are planned to release between June 2019 and March 30th, 2020. Moving on into the next story. Now, it's already known that a sequel to Spider-Man is in the works because of a tweet that was sent out from creative director Mr. Brian Intihar. Hopefully I said that right. Back in January, where he said that he recently shared a first story draft with other members of Insomniac Games. But with that being said, some fans think that a recent issue of a tie-in comic has confirmed the game's first villain, and his name is Swarm, where he appeared in Spider-Man City at War #2, which recently released in the comic. Spider-Man comes across Swarm, who is a villain whose entire body is comprised of bees, which he uses in battle. That would be very interesting. Moving on into the next story, sticking with Sony, it was revealed that Sony will discuss its vision and strategy for the streaming space going forward at the corporate strategy meeting and IR Day next month. Now, as it stands, PlayStation Now has 700,000 subscribers. Moving on into the next story, and we are almost done here, guys. But developer Psyonix, who are the makers of Rocket League, have just been acquired by Epic Games. And later on this year, they will bring the game to the Epic Store, and as a result of that, it will no longer be available on the Steam Store. Tell you, they just keep on steamrolling Steam. My goodness. Moving on into the next story. So it looks like, according to an industry insider, here we go with this again. Industry insider, we will see more of The Last of Us 2 before E3. Now, in a Reset Era thread, a user by the name of Aokiji said, and I quote, "Considering we're getting an official The Last of Us 2 update before E3, it would be really weird if it wasn't 2019. Now, wouldn't it?" End of quote. And moving into the final story for the week, this is just a quick story note. Valve's newest VR headset will cost $999.99. But if you already have a HTC Vive Series headset, you will be able to use your existing Vive controllers, which will then lower the cost to $499 for the VR headset unit alone. Now, it's targeted to start shipping July 1st. Man! That's it, guys. That is the gaming news this week. My goodness, I feel like I really cheated y'all, man. I apologize, brothers and sisters. I really do. While I do have just a little bit of time left, I got a few minutes to burn here. I do want to let you guys know really quickly about my impressions of Days Gone. I definitely have played the game. It's up on the YouTube channel. Go over there. The Analog Circle Podcast. Go over there on YouTube. Subscribe. Do what you do, brothers and sisters. I'm over there. But I have been into the game roughly about, I would say almost 3 hours. I've been into the game, and it's really not that bad. I will honestly say that I think the critics I'm not going to say they necessarily got it wrong, because there are some things about the game that I really don't like. One of those things, and the main thing being the motorcycle. The motorcycle is horrible to control. The controls on the motorcycle are my biggest complaint about the game. I definitely don't like the controls. It's hard to control. I don't mind so much having to repair the bike once you drive it, and not drive it, but ride it. Once you ride it and you do jumps and you damage it, I don't mind repairing it. All you do is press the circle button. It'll repair it right there. You don't need any certain parts or anything specifically to do that. So that's cool. But having to find gas every couple of minutes when you're riding on the bike, that can become it can be very tedious work, which is something I really don't like. I understand that the gas is all around, but you can be in the middle of riding somewhere and all of a sudden your gas tank is empty. And it's like, oh, what the world? You got to get off your bike, try to run to the closest town, get a gas can, run the gas can back over to your bike, put the gas back in, and then continue. It even got to the point where one mission up on YouTube is there. One mission I was doing, trying to get this guy who was a bandit or whatever. It wouldn't even let me start the mission because I only had 39% of a full tank of gas. So I had to run into town, to me, that is the most low point of the game. The gunplay in the game, the gunplay is not bad, but it's not great either. It's just not inspiring. It's okay, I guess. I really think that the main thing that you're supposed to be doing in this game really is just stealth kills for the most part. And it definitely shows the way that the game is set up. It's not, the gunplay is not its stronghold, but graphically, it is absolutely a beautiful game. Fantastic game to look at. The story has been okay so far. It's interesting. Like I say, I'm not that far in. I'm probably, realistically, I'm about around like 3.5 hours in. So I'm still very early on. I've been told this game takes, good grief, 30 hours to beat. So I'm not even really scratching the surface, to be honest with you. But I will say this in closing, because I don't want to harp on this too much longer. The game is definitely looking like it's going to fall for me. And in 3 hours in, I can't really say this is the definitive answer of where the game is going to sit for me. But for the just about 3 hours or so into the game that I have played, it's going to probably get somewhere between a 7.5 and it possibly could get an 8, but I think it's going to stay at a 7.5 if things basically stay the same. I've been told that it takes a while to really get the story going and, being able to level up and get your guns and all of that stuff. So who knows what can happen, but that's it, guys. I got nothing else, man, but don't worry, man. Next week, I'll definitely be back with the regular Analog Circle podcast, and we're definitely going to get into the feedback section and dig deeper into these gaming stories that have come out. So with that being said, like I said, man, shout out to Cody Clark, shout out to Ben Angry, shout out to all of you guys that listen every week. I truly, truly appreciate you guys. It really means so much to me that you guys tune in. And I want to leave you guys with this. That $25 PlayStation gift card that I was giving away, nobody claimed it. I believe I gave it away on the episode before this episode, because it was the week before Days Gone was supposed to come out. So go back to the episode before this, see if you can get the card, and hey, get $25 off at the store. Like I say every time I give these away, it's just a little token of me saying thank you to you guys for tuning in and listening to the show. So Before I officially close out the show, let me know if you like this format. Let me know if this is cool with you guys, out of curiosity. You can leave your feedback at the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com, or you can call into the show at 443-216-9934. Also, for the person who wins the PlayStation gift card, just email the show or call the show just to let me know that you got it so I can stop saying that a code is out there to get. So with that being said, guys, I am out of here. Enjoy some games. Have a good time. And I'll be right back at it again next week with the regular scheduled program. So you guys take care, man, and be safe. Bye-bye.